Good morning and welcome to our Wednesday show, Jour du Galop on Inside News. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm myself, Mark, Neisius and Shahil. We're going to be going through the Maiden Cup, which was a great day's racing. Our two to follow, then obviously the barrier trials and the sandwork, because obviously racing carries on after the Maiden Cup. And let's talk about the Maiden Cup itself. Electric atmosphere once again, unbelievable amount of people that came to the course. It was brilliant. In fact, our friend Noshad, he put a picture on Facebook, and I sent it to one of the racing groups in South Africa, and it was amazing the sort of response we got. Because as you all know, in South Africa, we're lucky if we get 50 people on the racecourse, and I think there must have been over 20,000 people at the Maiden Cup. It was a great day's racing, electric atmosphere. I'm sure that Courts Mammoth must be very happy. It was their first year sponsoring the Maiden Cup. Let's hope this relationship goes on for a long, long time. It was a great day. It was a great advert for them. And then obviously the MTC as well, the Mauritius Turf Club. I thought they put up, they hosted a great event, and well done to them. Right, Shahil, let's talk about White River himself. We did say he would stay after a couple of phone calls back to South Africa. But I thought after that 1850, and this is the way I explained it to a couple of people, that 1850, had it been an extra 500 meters, he probably would have just gone away and won by further. So I had absolutely no doubt about his stamina. My biggest worry was the draw, getting him into a position, and didn't Manuel Nunes place him beautifully?
He did. In fact, we also had no stamina doubts. When he ran those 2,000 meters race and 2,200 meters race in South Africa, it was still a free roll, not matured yet. No stamina doubts. Yeah, great ride with Manuel Nunes. The most impressive things was, like you said, the bad draw, but even with the bad draw, he stumbled at the start. And man, it takes a very good horse to recover from that and to get him into a decent position. He managed to find the rails at the 600 on the first turn. So that was a great, brilliant ride by the Brazilian magician.
Yeah, and that's 3 classics in the bag now. I've got no doubt in my mind that he'll win the Gold Cup as well. I was going back and, not going back, once again, Noshad, our historian, he will apparently be the second horse if he does pull off the feet. There was another horse called Winking in 1934. So that was about 85 years ago that the last time a horse has won all 4 classics in a season. So someone's mentioned to me on the racecourse that he's not going to win. He's dropping from a 2,400 down to a mile. And my response to that was, I said it could be a 990. He'll still win at White River. He's exceptional. He's a champion. And let's hope he stays sound, because the big question is where does he go from after the Gold Cup, because he's merit rating now 83 after Maiden. He's going to have to run in the weight for ages next year. If he stays in Mauritius, I wonder if they got any sort of thoughts about moving him abroad.
I don't know, but from what I've heard, he's going to go straight to the Gold Cup now. And like you said, champions don't know these transitions things. I also don't think that 2,400 to the 1,600 is going to be one of the big problems for him. In fact, I think he's one of the best horses I've seen in my small career here in Mauritius. The likes of Ilse Gattori, Hinterland, Disa later, but now this White River.
Yeah, he's a top horse. And then I want to mention France Law. What a great gentleman. I saw him after the race. So I actually saw him before the race. He had no jacket or no tie. And I said to him, how are you going to go and fetch your horse on the track looking like that? But when his horse won, he quickly put that jacket and tie on. And great for him. I do apologize to the other owners. Unfortunately, I don't know their names. I don't know who they are. Yeah, well done to him as well. But these people have put their money down. Their money where their mouth is, and well done to them. Rameshwar Gajra, he's obviously on his way to the championship as well. He's really turned the stable around, Rameshwar Gajra, and congratulations to their whole team, especially Dario as well. Dario, he does a lot of work there. He's a great, I swear he's the head groom, and I mean he could literally train his own stable. He's been around for a long time. He's worked for a couple of people, and well done to Dario as well. Right, then let's talk about Al Sheba, which was your dark horse. That was a terrific second place. What did you make of his run?
Great run also for Al Sheba. Listen, he stayed very well. He's still a promising horse. I remember you were telling me Daryl Holland said he's going to be a much more better horse next season. I'm sure he's going to be right there again next season for the maiden if White River is still here, or else he could be the horse to beat next year.
Yeah, I see that he did pick up a 2-point penalty for that second place. The disappointments has to be Enad, our emperor.
Yeah, Ian, listen, some people say that he has been lame, but the vet checked him and he hasn't found anything. So let's see how he's pulled back. I don't know if we're going to see him again after that, but yeah, Ian, a bit disappointing.
Yeah, and I see our Emperor as well. No vet report on our Emperor. I thought he'd run a little bit better as well. Right, well, that was the Maiden Cup. It was a great Maiden Cup. Obviously, a top horse, White River. We'll probably see him again in the Gold Cup, and I personally can't see anyone beating him in the Gold Cup the way that he won on Saturday. Okay, then Randall Simons, he had his first meeting this week. He started off with a bang. Nice ride on Consul of War. I thought he gave him a great ride, Consul of War, Randall Simons. We did say on Friday, ex-jockey of Mike de Kock. He's a top rider, this Randall Simon. I'm sure we're going to see a lot more of him till the end of the season. Kings County, he's bounced back. I have to say, what a great win by this horse. I mean, we've always, both of us have always sort of rated this horse, and unfortunately he lost his way. But I was really impressed with that when he was caught wide the whole way up that hill. Nourish sort of used him a lot, and I thought, okay, well, he's probably going to fade like he has been. But he really fought off and won a great race.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought the same as you. I thought he was going to fade after 3 wide on the first turn. But my goodness, he did kick for home and he won well. That was the King's County that we knew last year.
Yeah, exactly. That's the King's County that Robbie Fred always thought a lot of.
And that's the nice thing. Last year, I remember you always telling me that you would like to see this horse being settled in 3rd or 4th position. That's what he did this time. And he kicked nicely.
Yeah. Well, King's County, obviously, like they say, a horse can lose his form. He doesn't lose his ability. And I mean, he did. I really was impressed with this win. I think he's going to pick up another one before the end of the season. Right, let's say they were quite busy in the Stipes room. Quite a lot of suspensions on Sunday. Nishal Tia, well, he picked up 3 weeks for that fall early on, Enzo Borrego. And then he also got a 1 week for St. Nartles. It'll be interesting to see if that runs concurrently, or if he'll be taking 4 weeks. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work. But it's a pity because he bounced back nicely. I thought a great ride on JJ's captain. But now he's sort of just hit a hurdle here. And 3 weeks is quite a long time, especially when we're coming towards the latter end of the season. And pity for Nishal Tia there. Norris Juggle, Kings County, he got a week, 2 weeks.
1 week.
1 week.
Yeah.
1 week and 20,000. And then Robbie Bikari, he got a suspension on grade 5-8, so he'll be out. And then Sunil Basant, he also got a suspension on student grant. All right, let's just, before we move over to our 2 to follow, the pick 8. You sat down with me when we decided we'd try and work one out, and I closed the book after 4 or 5 races. I just knew that I wasn't going to be able to afford it. Unbelievable that after 2 legs of the pick 8, there was 80 tickets left.
Yeah, unbelievable. You left it out. I tried my best to do it, and I was out on the first leg, cool water. I mean, I saw him in the paddock. He was doing well. I mentioned that on the radio, but my gosh, I would have never put him in. Yeah. And then not only that, I thought I stand a chance with a 7 out of 8, but the second race itself, Kemal Cavou won, so everyone was out. I think there was only 80 tickets left. So, I don't know. Do you want to try again this week?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think I'm rather going to play the lottery. I think it's going to be easier to catch the lottery than to catch a pick 8. But I would imagine the pool's going to be, 15 million? Around about 15 million this week. So, once again, we'll see if we can have a little bash at a couple of percent of the pick 8. Right, our 2 to follow. The horse that I want to talk about is well connected from the Simon Jones stable. Just like JJ's captain, this horse has had, he's had the opportunity to gallop a few times, obviously because he was very unruly first time out, and he managed to go on the grass. I think it was 2 weeks in a row, if I'm not mistaken. And unfortunately, half a length slow away, he did get squeezed badly as well at the start, and that just, he was way out of his ground at one stage, and he had to pull ridiculously wide, in my opinion. In fact, I don't even think it was warranted, but he really came into the straight 7, 8, maybe even 9 wide, and he still stayed on up the straight. He still ran a very creditable 4th to behind Promissory. And let's just put all that bad luck aside. Well, not bad luck, but let's just put away the slow start, getting squeezed, the wide, the fact that now he's had the 2 runs as well. I think that this horse could possibly be a winner in the near future. And we all know Simon Jones really needs that winner. So let's hope that well connected. What I've always said, what I've liked about this horse is he's finished second behind Titsikoma Dance back in South Africa. He's 20 points less than Titsikoma Dance. So well connected could be a little bit better than his rating suggests. So let's keep an eye on well connected. Let's hope that he can pull it off for Simon. He's really going through a tough time, and it'll be nice to see that some of those horses that got that 6 months suspension for being found positive, they'll be able to run soon. It's not going to be much longer now before we see those horses back in action. So let's hope that Simon's going to finish off the season with a bit of a bang. Right, Shael, your horse to follow?
Wendell, listen, beautiful grayson of Twice Over. He was a bit slow to begin it into stride, but managed to find a nice spot in midfield. JJ's captain and then Zero was far too good and far too quick over the 990. He had to switch on to the outside of Golden Stone right on the home turn, and that cost him probably 1 or 2 lengths. He was hanging in quite badly under Pravej Oril, but once Pravej got him balanced, the penny dropped and he flew home for third. I went back to check his South African form. He's won once over 1,000 meters, but still a young horse, a bit immature. I do think that he can go over further ground, 1365 or 1400 wouldn't be so bad for Wendell. He's definitely one to keep an eye on with those blinkers.
All right, okay, that was the grey horse Wendell, a nice third place on Sunday afternoon. Right, let's talk about the barrier trial, not barriers. There was only the one barrier trial, but we did have 5 horses in it. And let's go through that. Horse Guards, Dragator, the Grey Crusader, Tiger's Bond, and Declarator. Horse Guards, he jumped with the blanket. And we did mention JJ's captain and well-connected horses that have had a bit of time on the grass. So is this horse now, Horse Guards, 2 consecutive weeks. He's definitely some improvement was noticed on his gallop yesterday. He absolutely romped home, beat them quite convincingly. He's obviously a classy horse, Horse Guards, and by the looks of things, he's probably over his sort of soundness issues. Dragator from the Sadoil Yard, he's a new horse. He's a nice horse. Nice horse to help Amar Sadoil rebuild his stable. He's a 3-time winner from Durban. He's raced in some quite good company, and his 3 wins have ranged from 1,200 to 1,400, although he has been placed in 1,600 as well. What I like about this horse, he remained fairly consistent. He always puts in a good performance, and there wasn't a bad effort behind Horse Guards yesterday. The Grey Crusader, naughty boy on debut, you sort of gave them quite a hard time loading, so he was ordered to repass. Remember, he's not a bad horse. He did beat the Jazz Singer by 5 lengths back in Durban in South Africa. We saw what the Jazz Singer did. So he obviously has got a little bit of ability. Then Tiger's Bond, they've tried him with blinkers after some good efforts in that 3-year-old championship. Hard to believe he's only rated 31. I'd like to see this horse in a merit rating 31 with blinkers. And then the last horse to talk about was also from the Rameshwar Gajara stable. He had the green jacket. He was ordered to repass after he fly jumped badly last time, which was a pity because his form before that was pretty decent. I was happy to note that he did stand and he jumped well. So let's hope that's behind him. Let's hope it was a once-off thing, because Declarator on his day, he's definitely could pull off a win for the Rameshwar Gajara team. Right, that was the only barrier trial. 5 horses there. Horse Guards looking in top form. He's obviously a very, very good horse. He's proven that already here in Mauritius. Let's hope whatever soundness issues he's had, that's behind him, and it'll be interesting to see when he steps out onto the course again.
That was a really interesting trial, actually, because Horse God is such an amazing animal, a good sprinter. From what I've been hearing, he's going to make his comeback next week in the Princess Margaret Cup. I don't know how fit he is, but to make a comeback at Group 1 level, wait for age, but he's damn good. This Dragator too, I know he was from the Duncan Howell stable in South Africa, nice horse there. And the Grey Crusader, I see that thing is entered in an 1850 this week, so even if he's 1 or 2 lengths slow out, that 1850, he could make up that ground. One to keep an eye on for this Saturday.
Yeah, okay. Well, there we go. That's that barrier trial on, well, only the one barrier trial, even though there was 5 horses, was like a little mini race. Right, let's talk about the sand work, the sand track work for this week, and we have pinpointed 10 horses. The first horse I want to talk about is Captain Gone Wild. He was a beaten favourite last time, but must be said he had a very tough race. He was pulled off the fence, off the backstretch to race 3 wide for some reason, and he sort of had to make up ground sort of pretty wide coming into the straight, and I thought there was pretty good work under new jockey Diego de Cavea. I rate this horse. I always have rated him. I see he is nominated in a 1500 benchmark 41, and all by my calculation he should get in because he is the 10th horse on the list, so he should be able to get in if they do decide to run him. And I suppose the question mark is 41 a little bit too high for him. I personally don't think so. I rate this horse Captain Gone Wild. I think he's a lovely son of Captain L. I think we can ignore his last run completely, and I'm sure he's going to run a good race in that race on Saturday, Captain Gone Wild. Right, the horse you want to talk about, your first horse that you spotted was Watch Me Dad.
That's right. He's now moved to the Gilbert Rousset stable. He's worked very well on his own in the Neisius yesterday morning. It was a bit disappointing last time when he finished fifth to Badawi when he was strongly fancied that day. He does have some top South African form, you remember, because he did beat that horse Frozen Tune, and he runs against the like of Clouds Unfold and One World. He should be able to win 1 or 2 races for the Rousset stable this before the end of the season, but he's not into it this week though.
Okay, that's Watch Me Dad. Yeah, he has moved over. I have to say he's looking in pretty good nick, Watch Me Dad. He has disappointed me, I have to be honest. I thought he was going to go on and be a little bit better than what he's proven, purely on that juvenile form of his back in South Africa. Right, let's talk about Barrack Street. Well, let's talk about the Saturday's feature race. It's a benchmark 66 over 990, and on paper it looks like it could be a 2-horse race. Remember, Barrack Street did run second to Henry Tudor last time. These two have both been nominated for Saturday's feature. This time Barrack Street will be 3 kilograms better off, and I think that's probably going to be good enough to turn the tables. Dio De Gavea will be riding him, and I think he's going to be a big runner on Saturday in that feature race. I think he's going to make amends. I possibly believe that he's going to turn that table around. We just have to go back to Titsikoma Dance and Bad Attitude when there was a 3 kilogram swing is quite a lot. And I think Barrack Street, if he sits right up behind Dollar Tractor, he could turn the tables on him on Saturday afternoon. Right, your next horse from the Raj Ramdin stable is Bonjour Baby.
Yeah, really nice win last time when he came to grab Royal Resolution right on the post. He hasn't been ever since, that is for 2 months now. He's worked very well on the Jean-Roland Boutanive yesterday morning, and he was looking great after his workout because he wasn't breathing heavily or anything. He came back very sound. He's entered this week in race 3. I think it's the same race as Captain Gone Wild, that is the 1500 benchmark 41.
Yeah, I must say Roger's done tremendously well with this horse. He couldn't win a race in South Africa. Came here as a maiden. In fact, I think he'd 1 or 2 places at best. But Roger's really turned Bonjour Baby around, and it'll be nice to see Mr. Ramdin back into the winner's enclosure. Right, the horse I want to talk about, the next horse I want to talk about is Virtue from the Jean-Michel Henry stable, beaten by the draw last time, and probably a very good ride by Manuel Nunes last time on Mutsi. Just got the better of Virtue. The poor horse hasn't had much luck with draws. If you have a look at his draws, he's always getting a poor draw on the outside. Let's hope he pulls a good draw in Saturday's 5th race. It's a benchmark 56. And this will be his first attempt in 56. He's been racing in 51, but he's going to have a handy weight of 57.5 kilograms. And Virtue, I think, like I said, he's just been very unlucky with the draws. Let's hope he pulls a good draw. I think he's good enough to win a 56, especially with 57.5. And I think Virtue, will keep an eye on him for Saturday. As soon as that book comes out, I want to see where he's drawn. Let's hope luck is shining on him and he manages to pull a nice draw. Right, then the next horse you're going to talk about is Bye Bye Rocket. We speak a lot about this horse. He is a decent horse.
He is. In fact, his last win was pretty impressive to me, because he was green. He was really green because when he broke out from the stall, Manuel Nunes had to give him 1 or 2 smacks on the shoulder just to get him going. He found the lead and he won well, beating Superstition, if I'm not mistaken. He has improved ever since. He's now handling the bends a lot better. Manuel Nunes doesn't have to use the stick on him at track work. He's worked well last week. He's worked well against yesterday morning. He's a superstar in the making, in my opinion, and he's entered again in a 990 benchmark 46 this Saturday, and Manuel Nunes is already on fire. I'm sure this horse won't be stopping so soon.
Yeah, Bye Bye Rocket. I remember Manuel Nunes listening to an interview of his before the first time he ever ran, and he was a bit worried about the horse being green, not fully matured, but like you said, I think the penny has dropped with him. He's going around the track a lot better, and he'll be a big run on Saturday as well. Right, Ticket Holder, one of my 2 to follows after that terrific run to Dollar Tractor last time. He sort of showed us what he did in South Africa. He had some decent form back in South Africa. He ran in a feature race there. I think he didn't get beat far by Lequeria, if I'm not mistaken, back in South Africa. But it just proved that his first run, I beg your pardon, was all wrong. He stayed on well in that benchmark 31 to finish 3rd at massive odds. and I don't think we're going to get those odds again on Saturday. But he keeps on improving this horse. He's had the 2 runs. I'm expecting a much better run from him in that third race as well. It looks like it's quite a competitive race, that third race, because we've spoken about a couple of horses. And he looked very good next to Northern Spire. What I liked about him is when he came off the track back to the stable, he looked in top form, did Ticket Holder. He is one of my 2 to followers. Let's see how he draws. Let's see exactly what field he's going to be taking on Saturday. And we might just even, we might be a little bit more bullish when that card comes out. Right, Till Dawn, one of a horse that I've always liked, finally got it together.
Yeah, that's right. He worked really nicely on the inside of Secret Idea yesterday under Randall Simons. He had a pretty tough race last time out, and he had a wide draw, but still managed to finish third behind Badawi. He's had only 4 runs this season. I think he had some issues early on in the season, but he looks to be peaking at the right time, Till Dawn, because now that Randall Simons is here and the Debbie yacht is going strong, I think he could win pretty soon. In fact, he's entered in race 7, 1500 meters, benchmark 31 for this coming Saturday.
Yeah, I have to say, I've been a little bit disappointed with Till Dawn. I've always liked this horse ever since he made that debut. International Day, and I thought, well, he is a nice horse, but he has let us down. Let's hope he gets it all together on Saturday afternoon. Right, and then Power Tower. Here's a horse I've been preaching for quite a long time. Finally, we see him in the nominations. He's in a 1850. He's got the blinkers on. Well, I would imagine he's going to have the blinkers on because his last run was a terrific run when he ran second with the blinkers on. It's a benchmark 36. Over the trip, he's going to love the 1850. And remember that he's had 2 close-up seconds in his last 2 runs. And you can't forget that good run in the benchmark 41 when he got beat just under half a length by that top horse, mind-blowing. And like I said, I think this was, with those 2 runs now, 2 good seconds, 1850, benchmark 31. I think he's going to be a big runner. He too worked very well, and he looks in very, very good form, does Power Tower. Right, the last horse we can talk about is Black Cat Back.
He's been pretty impressive the last few weeks in training this horse. Last week was against Enad, yesterday morning alongside Table Bay. His last run he got beaten only 0.20 by Rule the Knight in the Lightning Cup over 990, which was relatively too short for him. Before that he finished only half a length to White River in the Barbie over the mile, which was probably a bit too far for him. But next week he's going to get his right distance in the Princess Margaret Cup, that is over 1400 meters. He's a 5-time winner of a 14,100 meters back in South Africa. In my opinion, I would imagine he's going to be the horse to beat next week in that Group 1.
Yeah, he's absolutely flying his Black Cat Back. I do agree with Shahil as well. There was a terrific run in the Barbie, level weights with White River. Went down, I think, a half a length. And there was a terrific run. And I think he's going to be a big runner in the Princess Margaret. Is that a weight for age? Yes. That is a weight for age. Okay, so that's a nice race to look forward to next week. And hopefully I'm sure we'll show you a little bit more the build-up of the Princess Margaret Cup for next week. In the meantime, remember we will be back Friday. We'll be going through the card with you as best as we can. Hopefully find you a couple of winners. Have a great day, and we'll see you on Friday morning. Goodbye.